radar a little? Does it ever bother you that you don't have as much notoriety as some other guys?
No, I mean, I'm not playing the game for that reason. You know, I'm out here playing to have fun and trying to be the best player I could be. And, you know, I'm happy with myself and, you know, what I've done in my career. And I'm just going to keep going from there. It's not about me being famous or want to have more fame than those guys. It's about me playing basketball and having fun on the floor.
He just loves chatting with the media. Shannon, do you believe him?
I do. I believe him, Skip. But I also believe he wants to be recognized as one of the best players in the NBA. I don't think fame is something that he's looking for. I'm looking at his cornrows. I'm looking at the 1997 Tahoe that he still drives currently. As of last year, he was driving.
I'm not sure he still does, but go ahead. He was last year.
Yeah, that doesn't scream, look at me, Skip. That doesn't scream like, oh, guys, check your boy out. This is a Bugatti. This is a Ferrari, La Ferrari. No, that's not what he does, Skip. But he wants to be recognized for his talents. And he understands that's a little harder in a smaller market. See, Kawhi Leonard did not want to leave San Antonio because he wanted to be famous. He wanted to leave San Antonio because the relationship that he had with the organization deteriorated. Those are two separate things, Skip. I know you disagree with that, but I believe that wholeheartedly. And if you look at him, he doesn't have the personality that you know, people are like, oh man, I want to be, you know, I'm gonna buy his shoe or I'm gonna buy his product. Skip, the dude has a hard time sitting there for post game, for interviews. How you gonna shoot a commercial that's gonna take 8 hours? How you gonna do a movie that you got to shoot over 2 months? That's not what he's about. He's like, guys, look, I just want to be one of the best. I
was shocked he did Serge's cooking show.
That was the best personality we've seen from him in a while.
Yeah, I couldn't believe it. That took like 20 minutes to tape, right?
Yeah,
that was entertaining. That showed a little bit from
But
him.
you know what? He's around someone that he trusts.
Fair.
As opposed to the media that, you know, they might twist what I say. They don't really get who I am or understand who I am.
Yep.
So, Skip, I believe this young man 100%. I do not believe he wishes to be famous. I believe he wants to be recognized. He's like, very seldom, now since this playoff run, Skip, but they're very seldom, you know, and I guess a lot of it has to do with him being injured also last year, out of sight, out of mind. He says, I want to be recognized. When you talk about KD as the best player, when you talk about LeBron, or you talk about James Harden, don't forget about Kawhi Leonard. I was hurt, but I didn't go away.
You finished?
I'm done.
My turn. I'm going to say this one more time. This guy's a weird dude.
He's not weird.
He's a weird dude. He has shattered the superstar mold in many ways, shapes, and form. He does want to be a star, but it manifests itself in many different ways because it's not the usual outward ego that we see. There's no prima donna in him.
Right.
There's no diva in him that way. It's not for the cameras. Obviously, he's the flip side of Odell, you know,
Right.
Sure.
because he's not comfortable in the spotlight. And I'm shocked and impressed that he's even doing these interviews.
Right.
It's actually a requirement that if you don't,
They find you.
they're going to find you at this.
At this
This
juncture.
stage.
Absolutely,
Right?
yes, yeah.
So true.
But I'm impressed because that was actually a well thought out answer. He actually answered the question.
True.
He didn't dismiss it with I don't know, I never think about that. He tried to answer. Way to go.
Fair.
He's sort of coming out of that shell, just the way he came out of his defensive only shell early on in San Antonio. But what still rips me apart is he was made for small market San Antonio. He was made, it was perfect for him because he fell into a spot where he was the fourth wheel as a first couple of years player, first 3 years really, Duncan Parker Ginobili. And then when he finally arrived, this is going back 2 seasons ago, and Greg Popovich made it clear, it's your time and your turn to become the Tim Duncan. Not that he plays Duncan's position, but to take on
To be
that,
the face, to be the
yes,
leader of this team.
and to take on the mantle of responsibility where you take over on and off the floor. This is your time and your turn.
Right.
And our man Chris Broussard sat right here before the season started and said, MVP for that guy.
Okay.
Okay, and you know the rest of the story. I think he didn't want to be a star because he doesn't love the expectations, as you call them. I believe he has a hard time living up to that kind of a hot spotlight where it's all on you now to carry a franchise. Remember, nobody had any expectations of Toronto because they'd always flamed out.
Right.
So he was in the perfect spot in a city known more for collapse than for championships in basketball, right? It's beautiful because in San Antonio, trust me, as small market as it is dominated by Spurs 365 days a year. It's hard, man. I know the city. In fact, I've been proclaimed the unofficial mayor of San Antonio. I love San Antonio.
Well, where are my cinnamon rolls?
Okay.
You the mayor, call in a favor.
I don't eat cinnamon rolls.
That ain't for you. Jenny and I do.
Okay. I could call today and I could get you
do that?
12 dozen.
I don't want that many. I just want one.
Yeah. You sure you don't want
I
that
want to
many?
hear what these are all
Positive.
about.
So the point is that how it manifests itself that he wants to be a superstar is how he's treated. He wants to be babied and coddled off camera because he's tough off camera. Trust me on this. He's hard to manage and coach.
No, he's not.
Yes, he is.
Just because he don't talk. No, there's a difference between being a superstar and wanting to be a superstar and expecting superstar treatment. Because see, all he's like, look, y'all know who I am. Certain things you just roll out. I mean, Skip, sometimes I go to the restaurant, I don't request it, but sometimes they'll send me out a little something special. I didn't even order it. They recognize, well, I don't go there all flossed up and, all suited and booted expecting anything.
They always send me out a free dessert. And I'm like,
I don't need that.
dessert. And then I'm
What
looking
are
at
you trying to trump
I'm
my
looking
story?
at
Let me tell
Ernestine
my-
like, what are we going to do with this?
Eat it.
And I tell her, just take one bite of it so it looks like we tried.
Oh.
Take one bite. She says, you take a bite.
That's my story. Listen,
You guys are
see
living.
what I'm saying?
My story's better than
No.
your story. Am I right?
They
Yeah,
see-
I mean-
But Skip, the thing, if you look at with superstardom,
Yeah.
you have endorsements and you're gonna have speaking engagements. You're gonna have to go out. Skip, like when you were at Nike, you see LeBron go to the Philippines, he go to China, he go to Japan. All these guys that have these big shoe deals, that would be expected of Kawhi. But how do you sell a guy that's so reserved that he goes to a party, he's perfectly fine to be in the back of the room, like your boy Shay, as opposed to the front of the room that's mingling and meeting and greeting. That's not what he is. I just believe, Skip, he just wants to be recognized for his talent based on what he's done. He's like, for what I've done, it says superstar. Now, and when you're a superstar, they're gonna treat you as such. Like Tom Brady. Tom Brady gets treated a certain way, even though he treats everybody like he's a normal guy. But because he's Brady, because of what he's accomplished, now you get some guys, they expect to be treated a certain way. They act like certain way, even though they don't treat people a certain way. But that's different. This kid, Skip, and I call him a kid because, hell, I got a son as old as he is. I believe that he just wants to be treated as one of the best players, and everything else that comes along with that, I'm good.
Okay, and I'm going one level deeper than that because I have nothing but respect for his ability because he's got supreme ability that's starting to manifest itself on both ends of the floor,
Okay.
as we see in these playoffs.
Right.
I have little to no respect for his basketball character, and it's hidden because it's off camera, out of spotlight. But when I say he wants to be coddled and babied, he just doesn't want to be pushed to play. Like if he doesn't feel it because he's mentally, physically fragile, if he doesn't feel it, just leave me be. I don't want to play for a while. And in San Antonio, he'd go for gaps. It went for 7 years where he would miss multiple games a year, and you'd say, what is he doing?
He was
and the injuries would be a litany of, there were a dozen different things that were supposedly wrong, and maybe he was or maybe he wasn't, because I'm never sure about that.
You know what, Skip?
Okay.
See, like you always tell me, say, Shannon, you're injecting yourself into a situation. Just because you went to school every day, just because you never missed a day for work, that doesn't mean everybody else should be held to Skip Baylor's standard.
How about Michael Jordan's?
I don't care about no Michael Jordan. Michael Jordan missed a whole year with a broke foot. You remember that?
You think it was broken? Boy, I do.
Okay, but hold on. And then he took another year and a half off to retire. And
That
then he
was
took another 3 years.
forced.
I don't know.
Forced.
Jen, I don't know what happened.
Forced.
I mean, you look at my grandma forced me to eat a bunch of food I didn't want to.
9 times he played all 82 games. 2 other times he played 80 and 81 games. So that's 11 seasons of 80-plus games.
Skip, but
your man just played 82 a year ago, a season ago.
But Skip, here's the thing. You know, back then, guys played. Now the guys don't play. The pace is much faster. Guys are not playing. That's not a big thing. Back then, that was a big thing to play all 82 games.
Okay.
Now it's not a big deal.
This is what just drives me out of my mind, that he gets away with this.
What he get
happened
away
in
with
games 3 and 4 of this Milwaukee series? First 2 games back in Toronto, they're down 0-2. Pressure's mounting. Spotlight is heating on number 2.
What'd he do?
And he limps through both games.
And he comes
I'm
to
like,
flying colors.
What? What are you doing?
And that should let you know,
Limping.
Skip. He's limping and cooking.
He's limping and cooking, and then he would cook, and then he would
Yeah.
limp. And I'd say, he looks fine to me.
That's what's impressive.
Looks fine
Skip,
to
I
me.
remember a lot of times my grandma like, baby, you granny don't feel good, but she in the kitchen cooking, making them pots home.
And yet, before Game 6, we did the show ahead of, it'd be Friday before the Saturday night Game 6. You said you were highly concerned with his health.
I shouldn't have been.
Okay.
But I was.
Okay, but you were.
I was.
And you're buying into that because I just don't think he's hurt. And then it came out after the game, he's got knee tendonitis. So it's gone from thigh tendonitis to knee tendonitis.
You know.
I don't know.
Yeah, you do know. You do know when you have an injury and you compensate, you hurt other things. You do know that.
I do know that. But Kyle Lowry said he can't even feel his left thumb right now.
Skip,
Can't even feel it.
Okay, you can't feel it. I don't really understand is that guy fakes his right arm.
But he said he has a hard time passing the basketball. That pass he made, the trail pass to number 2 was
Let me ask
pretty
you a
good.
question. How many times during the course of a game you see an NBA basketball player two-hand chest pass? Stop that, Kyle Lowry.
These guys are all fundamental.
Yeah, funny. You know what? That guy funny. Look at that. Good.
Look at
That
that
like
guy.
a tennis ball in his hands.
Hey.
Is that an official basketball?
Hey, God was good, man.
Yeah, he is. All the time he good.
I know. God was good. He's got the whole package.
You know what, Skip?
Except for what he's made of. I don't trust what he's
You better make sure you come to work. Because if Kawhi Leonard, I don't want to hear nothing about you sick, you under the weather. I need you to come in here and face me.
I think he'll be here.
No,
I
he
just
won't.
don't know about-
He'll have Ernestine to call in.
I told you I'm going to rehab. Number 2 rehab.
Well, we coming there. We coming.
Are you? We'll just do the show and
Yeah, we-
rehab.